What's up, residents? So, you probably already know, and if you haven't, go back and check out our last video, but the MonsterVerse lives on. We're getting a brand new TV series coming out on Apple TV, probably in the next couple years, along with the Skull Island Netflix series, and a whole bunch of hints at some more MonsterVerse comics. So, really freaking cool, Al. This is great news, isn't it, man? This is awesome for us Monster fans.
Godzilla! Sorry, I'm just very excited. I mean, it was the last time I was making a video at like 12 o'clock at night. Was like back when the Pacific Rim sequel was announced. So it's been a while, and I was like, I have to get on this. I have to make a video because excited is an understatement.
Yeah, after Godzilla vs. Kong, they pretty much they said sure, the MonsterVerse is in good hands. We think we're gonna do some stuff with it, but we haven't heard really anything in about 8 months. It's just been
all we had was hints back and forth from writers and stuff, and it was we haven't had anyone coming out to just confirm it. Legendary themselves hasn't been oh yeah, well here's the actual update, here's the news. We've just had the writer of Godzilla vs. Kong being well, I want to. It's he wants to. Let him do it.
Yeah.
But finally, the actual Legendary Twitter account and stuff has been we're making it, so it's as official as it can be.
Alright, so before we get into the meat of everything that's going on behind the production for this series that they've revealed so far, I'll quickly read you all the synopsis. Just a quick little summary of it. So more or less, following the battle between Godzilla and the Mutos at the end of Godzilla 2014 and in the city of San Francisco, the rest of the world figures out that monsters are real, and I guess we're going to be following one particular family's journey to uncover their own family secrets that apparently links them to Monarch, the people who study the Titans, and the Titans themselves. So I guess we're going to get the classic kind of Godzilla where a human family follows Godzilla and the rest of the Titans, and we'll see what happens. And I think that's kind of what we always wanted. We just talked about how we wanted a MonsterVerse series that was kind of like the old Godzilla 1998 animated series, to where you have that one team that's kind of like a family that just follows Godzilla around, helping him do cool stuff. So very cool. I think it's it's gonna be somewhere in that time frame between King of the Monsters and Godzilla 2014, so we're probably gonna see a lot of studying of the Titans and a lot of asset breaches and all that sort of craziness. But that's really all we have so far, and we can't really make too much guesses. It's pretty broad, but more than likely I think we're finally going to get to see all of, or at least most of, what's the total amount of Titans in the MonsterVerse that Legendary has made? It's
17
somewhere around 20
and counting.
17 and counting. I think we're finally going to get to see all of those awesome Titans that they created lore on, they created names for, but they never did anything with them. Well, I think they're going to do something with them now, so that's very cool. I'm excited for the story on that, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit, but Al, go and tell the good people about why they should be excited that this show is on Apple, and how there's some nice, some really skilled people behind the series.
I myself am an Apple fan. I've been relatively supportive of their TV subscription service for since they announced it. At least I've been very curious. There's not been much that I myself personally have been really attracted to. I know that there's lots of very, very good, high quality programs on there, C, which has got Jason Momoa in it. There's Spielberg's Amazing Stories, which is really high budget show, and there's The Morning Show, which is a really well written show with Jennifer Aniston in it. So there's lots of really good stuff there. So you can tell that Apple has an excellent quality control service, basically. So if we're going to have Godzilla on it, then it means it's undeniably going to be at least well written and well shot. And considering what the other things are on Apple, it's probably going to have a humongous budget. And what is beneficial about it is that HBO Max isn't available pretty much everywhere. I know it's available in the US and surrounding regions there, but Europe doesn't have it. I mean, at least the UK doesn't have it. Most of the rest of the world doesn't have it, so it doesn't seem very economically viable to have it on HBO Max. But Apple TV Plus is available pretty much everywhere, and you don't actually need an Apple product to watch it. You can watch it in your browser, on your PlayStation, It's available actually, surprising a lot of places.
Yeah. So I'm one of those. I know there's a lot of you people that are gonna be listening to this, and you're like, I have 10 streaming things. I don't want another one. Well, I don't want another one either. But to get the Apple's super cheap usually, and like you said,
it's under $5.
Yeah, and it's everywhere.
To actually get a year. But if you actually have bought an Apple product in the last few years, you'll have a free year you might not even know about.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal, and I think this is going to be Apple's, like you said, they from what I've seen, and I just quickly glimpsed into it, but once in the back because I got my free subscription after buying an Apple product. I went in there and I was like, none of this interests me, but I can tell that it's all made really well, you know? Like, if you're into that filmy sort of, you know, if you're like a film junkie, you're more than just someone that's like, whoa, movies, man, you know, like, you actually like how, like, the cinematography and all that stuff's put together. It looks like they're really good on that. And this series is it's probably going to be their flagship because this is a big fandom, you know? Like, this is...
It's definitely going to attract probably the biggest amount of new people to their service that they've ever had.
Yeah, this is their you know, Mandalorian attempt. This is their big series that they're really going to hope draws in a crowd, because right now it's just there's nothing in there that's going to make you want to come and watch it, but this will get all us monster fans and action people kind of being like, all right, well, I'll go check out Apple. So it's pretty cool. And I think, you know, Apple TV is everywhere. Like you said, it's on your video game. It's like you'll see that little Apple TV logo on like your smart TV. It is everywhere. It's highly accessible.
Yeah. It didn't used to be. They've recently like expanded to everywhere. It used to be you have to have like the little box that you got from the Apple Store.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you can get it on pretty much everything.
Yeah. So.
But in regards to who's making it, which is actually probably something a lot of people are interested in, Chris Black, who did Star Trek Enterprise, Mad Men, and most exciting of all, Desperate Housewives. Now that might sound like a silly thing to say, but whether or not it's a show for you, I think it's undeniable that Desperate Housewives has left a pretty big impact in the TV world. It's got pretty good characters for that target audience, so they know how to write people, they know how to write drama. So if this is going to have a lot of people in it, which is definitely going to, having someone that knows drama, even Mad Men is an excellent drama, and Star Trek Enterprise, it's a science fiction. He knows his way around all these different, franchises, so I think he's going to do a pretty good job with Godzilla.
Yeah, definitely. I think it has a lot of potential, and now obviously for a TV series, it costs a lot of money to animate Godzilla and all these giant monsters. And so like a TV series, they're probably going to do a lot of tricks with how they show Godzilla and how the monsters are included. I would imagine that's how they're going to go about it. So I think the story is going to primarily probably focus on these human characters, which... bear with us, may not be a bad thing, because if it's actually done right, it can make it seem really cool. Now imagine like the Brodies from 2014, like they were kind of quote boring or whatever in the thing, but just imagine if that was fleshed out more. Like they were like that. That would be cool. So that's probably what it's going to do, and we'll talk about what you're really excited for, and that's if Godzilla and Kong and all the other Titans, like how they're actually going to be put into it. But while we're in the subject of talking about the human characters, who do you think this family is going to be? They say it's just a random family. They don't imply that it's like the Russells.
It's got to be someone new. They
yeah.
didn't say the Russells or anything.
Yeah, they didn't say it was the Brodies
we've
or
had
the
the
Russells.
Russell story. They're in Godzilla vs. Kong. I think they need to have a new family so they can have a bit more creative freedom.
Yeah.
And that they've already said that they're connected to Monarch somehow. So my guess is that they have related to someone that was on the expedition to Skull Island in the 70s. At least that's my guess. I said Rhonda might be a relative, but that's just like a blanket. It could be him. It could be someone else that was on the island, because they uncover how they're connected to it. It says that in the synopsis. So why they're connected to it, who knows? They might have some secret document in their basement that they didn't realize was there. But up in the air. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, definitely. So let us know who you think this human family is. Do you think it's going to be someone from, a returning character from either Skull Island? Do you think it's going to be Serizawa's family? Just let us know what you think down below. But let's move into what you're super...
Oh God, if we see Serizawa again, that's...
Oh, if Ken Watanabe walks on the screen, I think I'm going to have to go step aside for a second.
Here is my estranged son that I've always spoken about.
Yeah. He does exist. All right, let's move on to Godzilla and Kong. All right, so clearly they already confirmed that it's going to be centered around Godzilla.
Well, they bought the license from Toho.
Yeah,
again,
Toho's
so it means
go for
that
it.
We'll hopefully see Godzilla in this, which we will, and hopefully more films after it. Hopefully they've got a long-standing license.
Yeah, I think at this point they're good friends with Toho. I think Toho's very cool with Legendary. And I think them allowing them to do this TV show, we kind of hinted at it. We won't get too overboard, but we're kind of theorizing that they're letting Legendary make this TV show so they could go and put out their Toho Godzilla movie, and then once that's all done, we'll get some more Legendary Godzilla in there too. But in the meantime, we'll get Kong movies or something. So that's just all theorizing for now. So,
well, the timeline that I imagine is that we're going to see the Kong anime this year, which many people don't.
Skull Island, don't forget about that, man. It's going to be kick-ass. I don't know why they're so secretive, but this show is going to be freaking awesome.
Animation takes a long time.
It does, and they're very secretive.
They're probably knees deep in that right now. So I reckon that'll come out late this year because they announced it ages ago. And I reckon the Godzilla show will come out next year because if they announced it this year, they don't want to wait too long. It'll probably come out next year. And as well, I'm assuming there's going to be a Japanese Godzilla film next year because it sounds like that the reason they don't want to give them necessarily the license to another movie right now might be because they want to make their own movie like they did with Shin Godzilla. But thankfully, it's not going to be like 2014 to 2019 where we had just nothing because they wanted to make Shin Godzilla. So hopefully we're going to have Legendary stuff and Toho stuff.
Yeah, which is like a perfect
then after that, we'll probably see Kong, like the new Kong movie in 2024. And then after that, we'll probably see
more
another Godzilla movie. So it's a good amount of stuff that's going to come out.
Yeah,
and they're thankfully going to keep that steam going.
Yeah, it's cool. We're all
kind of
worried that they're just going to let it die, and it's like, gosh, if you want to bring the MonsterVerse back in 10 years, good luck. So they kind of had to get the ball rolling, and it seemed like the reason why we didn't hear anything is because Legendary is out here making deals with all sorts of people. It seems like they're going all in, dude, and I'm super excited.
They're going all in, but it is surprisingly. It's very smart what they're doing. They're still building hype for Godzilla, but they already know that Kong, at least from the history of it, is the highest earner in the monster.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of.
I think they're pretty confident that they're going to give him another film, but they want to grow
the lore.
Godzilla and probably do more with him in the future.
Yeah, they're setting up the lore. One kind of constant issue I've had with just kaiju, stuff in general, Godzilla, Kong, the big, all the big guys, is that no one's ever really took a lot of effort to create a huge lore base, like Star Wars, like Middle-earth, like all these other franchises, to where you can go and look through 40 years of lore and it's just amazing. It seems they've kind of struggled with that, or they've never even attempted to do that too much with Godzilla and Kong. The MonsterVerse, but at the end of the day, it's just
the comics.
4 movies. Yeah,
the comics, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, they're like graphic novels. There's only a few, there's only 10 of them they've made, and they've kind of dabbled in it, but it seems like now they're actually putting a lot of effort into building an actual lore, huge MonsterVerse for real, that
because the graphic novels were just companion pieces to the films. That's all they were, really. Is all they felt like little bits of marketing for the film. But now it feels like they're properly delving in there.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were. I'd say The Birth of Kong was the only MonsterVerse comic series that kind of had its own kind of flair, because it was 5 issues, I think, something like that. So that one was like it, but the rest of them, like you said, they've just been, hey, let's make some extra money on top of the movies, they've been good, but that's just kind of like the vibe that they were putting off. So we're getting a whole universe. So in this TV show, we're gonna have Godzilla, definitely. We probably won't see Kong. I'd imagine we'll get little hints, but this is gonna take place before the world really knows about Kong, or before Godzilla versus Kong.
When do they build the containment facility that you see in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Okay. Here we go. Going back to that Birth of Kong Skull Island series. It's the that takes place in like the mid 90s, like 96 or something like that. So the containment facility, all the crazy advancements that we see on Skull Island that wasn't there in the 1973 film, that all happened between the mid 90s and I guess 2020. So we might hear like, hey, Monarch's starting to build like this base up over on Skull Island, and we may venture there a couple times just to see it, and maybe we'll see like Kong scratching his butt in the background or something. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, I think it's definitely gonna follow mostly Godzilla, and I think it's gonna be Godzilla going and doing things, and Titans are gonna break out probably of their containment facilities, and they're probably going to create a lot of lore stuff that was never mentioned in the movies, but that's all right. I think like you got to do something with that.
It's fine.
That time. So we're gonna get lots of monsters. I think we're gonna get the classic guys. We'll probably see some like Behemoth and like all of them sort of things that we've the fandom has grown to love about the MonsterVerse. So yeah. All right, so that's all we have right now, though. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more news coming out. Legendary finally broke the seal of news, and hopefully it continues to trickle out, going into spring and summer. Like we said before on the channel, I think we're going to get some MonsterVerse comic news and Skull Island Netflix series news sometime this summer during one of those nerd conventions, probably Comic-Con. Maybe. We don't know for sure.
Very soon, then. It's very soon. It's only a few months.
Yeah, only a few months now. We're not 100% on that, but it makes a whole lot of sense that that's when they would kind of start to really, like, show stuff. But, keep an eye out on Legendary's social medias, and remember to stay tuned to Dangerville, because we're ready to get fired up and bring this new series and all these new shows and comic and lore to you guys. So thank you all for spending your day with us, or at least part of your day. And I've been Jacob, and I'll see you in the next one, and that's been Mr. Alistair.
I love you.
Peace out, guys.